Hello everybody, Keith here again. Today I'm going to have a look at one of my Restrepias. It's the last of the original purchases. All of them have come from Burnham Nurseries. This is the last one to be repotted. It has flowered, it has put some new growths up, but as you can see, we've now got this fern that's starting to dominate. So if for no other reason, that one's coming out, plus as you can see we've got roots right the way through to the bottom. So this ought to be a fairly straightforward repot, I think. If I can tease these roots a bit to get the pot off. Oops. Never mind. Well, we've certainly got a pot full of roots. The medium appears to be a mixture of moss and perlite. Well, I've got in here something very similar. I've got some moss, perlite, bark and a little bit of charcoal, although I'm honestly not sure what charcoal does. So what I'm going to do now is try to get through this lot and try and make some sense of what we've got. Now, it strikes me that the Restrepia roots are slightly coarser than the ferns roots, and as such I'm going to try and get this moss off, but I think this is going to be a little bit of a mangle. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it without knocking some of these roots off, which I don't like doing, but I'm not sure how it can be altogether avoided. But you can see we've got what looks to me like two-tartar root. That I'm pretty sure is a Restrepia root, which means that these much finer black ones must come from the fern. And although the fern's nice, I'm going to try and keep as much as I can and put that in its own pot. What I am going to try and do now though is get as much, well, I don't want any of it in the new pot, and I think this is going to prove tricky simply because we've got quite an issue here. With everything getting mixed in together, so I could very easily end up damaging everything, and I don't want to do it. This one, in case I haven't said, is cuprea. It came as cuprea hybrid from Burnham's, although there is a species called cuprea, I believe. So quite what that means, I don't know. Yeah, we've got some orchid roots, all right, but I don't think there's as many as I thought we'd got. So whether I've pulled some of them off inadvertently, I don't honestly know. Quite possible, I suppose. I don't work with moss very often. It doesn't last very well, of course. Um, so once it looks like it's going to go, it's all got to come out, but it's beginning to look to me, there we go, that makes more sense. Right, so we've got that fern away, and that's starting to grow. You can see that new fronds are coming up from the base, and now we've got this, which is suddenly not looking anything like as healthy. And I suspect that I've damaged a lot of these roots as I've tried to split it all up. But it's an old piece, I'm not worried about that. Yeah, I suspect it was probably a mistake to have left it as long as I have. And where have I said that before? Well, how many times have I said that sort of thing before? Now, Restrepias are funny little beasts. They grow flowers, spikes from the stems around the base of the leaf. They can grow from the bottom of the plant down here. They can also grow from the same sort of nodes that the buds will come from. No real signs of that on these, but yeah, that's one way they work. So if I just take these sheaths off, I mean, I don't think we've got any kind of livestock growing in with these, but at least that way, if I see something that's got a full set of sheaths on, chances are it's a new growth. But they are nice little plants of Restrepias. But yeah, I can see why this one's not been looking ever so brilliant. So it can happily go back into that pot, and then it's fingers crossed that we can do something with it. So I'll put some of that into the bottom, sit that up onto the top like that. So this is a mixture of bark and moss and perlite and some aquarium charcoal. Now, some people say that charcoal keeps the compost fresh. I don't know. I'm not a chemist. I've said many times before I was a research engineer. I started life as a mechanical engineer working for my apprenticeship with a company that made power station boilers amongst other things. So the epitome of heavy engineering here in Derby. And then I moved to work for the National Coal Board, and I worked for them for 17 years before getting made redundant, by which time I'd moved from mechanical more into mining engineering, and I did my PhD in mining engineering after that at Nottingham University. So I am not in any way a biologist. I have kept tropical fish for a long time, and it's perfectly true that if you use this kind of thing with it, you can, using charcoal takes out some of the nitrites and nitrates and ammonia and what have you that can cause your fish problems. It isn't a substitute for changing water, but it can help, especially on a newly set up tank. But it takes stuff out of the water, and my thought is that if it's designed to take stuff away, is it in actual fact taking stuff out of any fertiliser you put through? So that's always a possibility. So anyway, that's Restrepia cuprea repotted and nice and clean into that pot, and we'll just have to hope that it will kick off now. It's not getting strangled by this fern. That fern, well, yeah, I'll stick that in some moss in another pot, and I'll give it my good lady to stick into her little terrarium that she's got. Proper terrarium, not like the old bits of bobs I've got for growing my Restrepias in. But anyway, that's enough for now. Thank you for watching. I trust that's been enjoyable, entertaining and a little bit informative, and as usual it's another one of those where if only I'd done things a little bit sooner we might have had a better result. But we've got quite a big plant, there's lots of leaf, it can generate plenty of food for itself. I think there's still some roots down there, and they seem to do well. They seem to want more light than I've been giving them, as you've seen with the development plant. We're doing that before many weeks are out. As you will see, the Restrepia, which I have, the Falkenbergii, is in flower. I've never had a Restrepia flower like that one is doing, and the elegant, which is over by the window, just to try and give it a little bit more light than it was getting where it was, that's putting new growths out. So light is clearly more important to these than I gave it credit for. Anyway, that's all. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.